This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw!
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. It's Thursday, December 9th. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas, and this is the Team of Rivals podcast, proud members of the Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcast and blog content. You can follow us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast, and we're on Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod. For those of you watching us live, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and be sure to ring that bell on YouTube so that you receive notifications anytime we post new content. As Ron said during the prep before this show, this is probably going to be the shortest baseball content that you've ever experienced with the Team of Rivals podcast, but that's appropriate because, as Ron said, we're going to lock them out. I mean, if they're going to lock us out and they're going to lock the players out, we're going to lock them out. So it's going to be a quick rundown, but you're going to love it. And then we're going to rip Star Wars, and you're going to love that too. So joining me for tonight's show, co-founder of Team of Rivals and number 48 in the 2020. Hey, Ron, when do we get the update? Does that usually come after the first of the year?
I don't know. You know what? I'll message Shop Talk. I felt like he had done it at this point last year, but maybe it's a little bit. I don't know. In fact, this year I don't even remember seeing the poll go out to vote. So I don't recall if I've even voted. So I've
you know
said
what? You are absolutely right. December 10th, 2020.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe it's due, but I predicted I would fall this year. I've been less.
You did.
I've been less active with not only just podcasting, but I haven't done that Two Birds show since I think April or May. I know that was a boost to me last year, so that boost wasn't there. Best I can do, I think, is maintain to be in the top 50. But that's I'm going. I think I'm going down, guys. I think I'm falling down a level or two.
Well, you'll still be number 48 in the 2020 edition, and that's how we'll continue to introduce you. And of course, also joining us tonight, permanent occasional guest host, Elliott Dewey. Elliott, my man, how you doing?
Howdy, folks. How we doing?
Jesus.
He's not the best third man
all right?
for nothing.
No, I'm good. What's up?
That's a low energy hello.
I know, right?
Hey, if baseball's going to be low energy, I'm going to be low energy. I'm saving it all for Star Wars.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, you're going to have to message Shot Talk because it says the poll was going to close on October 23rd.
Is he manually tabulating these things?
He's doing it in
this?
Excel.
No, because he's got it as a Google form.
All right, C70, what the hell's taking so long? Maybe it's just call him. Got his number. Just call him in the middle of the night.
Get him on here. What the hell? It's been 2 months.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
I'm just going to jump forward. I'm actually able to still put in a vote. And obviously I put in our address as the handle, and I'm just going to go right to Ron Nuttall. Where is he? Ron.
I'm not even on the.
Oh, it's probably TOR, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. That's right. Yeah, because it's here. All right, here we go. This is obviously there. It is. TOR Ron. Okay, first of all, I'm offended on two levels. One, Team of Rivals is not on there, so you can't even vote for us. And two, Elliott's not on there. So I'm going to put Ron down as barely worth following.
Well, I'm not on there because I don't talk about the Cardinals. I talk shit about the Cardinals.
That
I
might
know,
still
and
put you
that's
on.
what makes you one of the
Shit,
top
you know what?
Cardinals
Most of
Twitter.
those people on the Cardinals top Twitter talk shit about the Cardinals all year
No,
long. It's
that's
their own
true. And
fans.
they're probably actually worse than I am too.
They are way more critical. I mean, the only thing that you do that's blasphemous is call out Yachty Molina for being a bitch or something like that. Like most of them don't go that
no,
far.
that's true.
Which, come on, he is.
They just
The
you
reason
know what,
why
guys,
his
it's not a
pitchers
hill
can
I'm
get away
willing to
with
die
not
on
having
anymore.
sticky stuff on them is because he's got it on his chest. He gets the ball and then he rubs the sticky stuff on and throws it back.
That's right.
Nobody
all
showed
know
more
that.
disgust this year, though.
We
The
all know.
Max Scherzer being checked, walking off the diamond. It is actually, I have actually purposely YouTubed that a few times, especially when they first implemented that law last year. There's nobody more disgusted than Max Scherzer at that. It's actually really funny. I just encourage everybody to go back and watch.
Yep.
He was still a national,
he's
obviously.
always super annoyed and it's fantastic.
So yeah, Ron, you're gonna have to get in touch with Shoptaw and figure out what's going on because
Yeah,
this time
definitely.
last year we knew that you were number 4.
That's all right. You know, nobody. You know, let me center myself here. Nobody. Let me center myself here, guys. Nobody pays us to do anything here on social media. We're all fans. The fact that he runs a poll like that he has time to do it, I commend him for that. So I'm not going to go giving the poor guy a hard time. I saw his Christmas light display outside of his house, and it was actually pretty impressive. So he's been spending his time doing things way more important than worrying about where Ron Nuttall, TOR_75, places on the top Cardinals on Twitter. I'm sure that's not what he's worried about right now. But I'm going to fall in the standings. So
There's the response. I heard the ding. What do you say?
no, that wasn't C70. He's not watching this. That was
He said you're just outside the top 150.
It's from again, Marine Corps buddy of mine. He was a big baseball fan, a Padres fan. He's watching us on YouTube. Said he's a little bit behind, but you haven't missed much, man. Scott, we're slugging through
Whether
this
you're
because
talking about tonight's show or the whole length of the podcast.
yeah, you know what. And you're probably going here. I mean, I know we're talking about some random things right now. Nobody gives a shit where I land on Twitter. I'm proud to be number 48, given that I was nothing a few years ago. Wasn't even a thought. So hey, look, whatever. Honored, sort of. But I love. We're a big fan of C70. He actually does. He's a baseball fan that has a heart of gold, and there's nothing negative I can say about him. He has some horrible puns, and that's the only thing. That's the only knock the guy has. You guys probably you don't see what he posts on Twitter all the time. He's a pun machine, and most of them are just really bad. I should probably share some of these. I should probably retweet more of them more often. In fact, every time I see one, I've found a favorite GIF to reply, and it's just Liam Neeson going, "Why? You know." So no, Shoptaw's a good guy, but Scott out there in California, Redding, California, I believe, watches this on YouTube. So a little bit behind. Scott, I know you're a Padres fan, and I gotta tell you, man, Padres have been they were up my craw for a couple of years because they were pilfering Cardinals in the Rule 5 draft. However, Cardinals struck back this year, plucked a Padre in the Rule 5 draft, and I was tagged on a Twitter post.
Revenge.
It's not going to be revenge. It's just going to be one of those things like, and it was an irrational hatred towards the Padres for what, a couple years, guys. And I know Elliott's wearing the goddamn Padres hat right now. The only reason you're wearing it is because of me. And just to clarify to Scott, it's not that I hated the Tony Gwynn era Padres. I hated the Padres that couldn't figure out who they wanted to be, so they just robbed everybody's system via Rule 5 draft. They played by the rules. They didn't do anything wrong. I just got annoyed with them. So that's it.
And that's all you have to say about
So Pete,
That's all.
Yes.
That's it.
Sorry, I ripped my earbud out by accident. I was
No
gesturing
worries.
maniacally.
So shall we talk about baseball? Okay, here we go. Ready?
Let's go.
People are concerned. Apparently, there's concern about Carlos Correa's lower back, and his team's playing at Coy. Kyle Schwarber has a reasonable ask, so The Last Jedi could be landing in an outfield near you. Let's see what else. The Giants may be in on some of the top names as far as middle infielders. Read Carlos Correa or Trevor Story, and most importantly, the bat licker is going to Korea.
I saw that. And to a team named the Heroes of all teams. Look, when the Cardinals were spinning their wheels trying to figure out what kind of outfielders they did or didn't have, trading away ones that showed promise, throwing the chips down on a few players that I admittedly didn't like at the time, I would have loved nothing more than to bring in the COVID bat licker into St. Louis. And I've said this before, right, guys? I'm like, if you said, hey, when this whole pandemic started, like, name 5 irresponsible major league players that are going to get it. Like, my first pick would have been Yasiel Puig. It would have been all of our picks.
You know that when there is an outbreak.
Oh, absolutely.
And by the way, I know that not everybody who's got it has been irresponsible. I'm just saying the people that were reckless and you knew they had no choice. Like, nature was going to strike them with COVID because nature had no choice because they're idiots. Puig was one of them.
I can't wait until sometime in about 6 months. There's a new variant that breaks out of South Korea, and the WHO breaks with their naming
the hero variant,
and it becomes the Puig the Puig variant.
It's going to be.
It's only transmitted by licking.
That's right. Yeah, it found a way. It went from the bat. It went to the bat boy. Bat boy licked a lollipop, and it went to somebody. I mean, it's just that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be a really weird one. And it's going to be all over CNN because they love variants. I mean, they can't wait for the next one to talk about it non-fucking stop around the clock. Pause myself right there. So yes, of all teams, he signs with a team called the Heroes, which I think is just hilarious. But how do you not just, I mean, he's never been our problem, right? Like, he's never been on our clubs. We know we'd be annoyed with him if he was, but he's not. We know he has a boatload of talent, was never able to cash in on that talent because is it fair to say he's just kind of a jackass, right?
He's an idiot.
Seems like it.
So,
yeah, he doesn't.
By the
bright.
way, second player on that list would have been my very own Carlos Martinez.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt. Now I will tell you this: in that top 5 would have been Javier Baez, one way, shape.
Oh no, see, I was going to go with Wilson.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
I think Wilson, because he would lose his shit and start screaming at somebody,
and spittle would get out, or
yeah,
he would invoke somebody to spittle back at him, and it would have been somebody that was positive, right? Okay, yeah, okay, I can see that. I can buy into that. Anyway, yeah, I saw that earlier, and I'm like, okay, fine. He was going to sign a contract with the Atlanta, I believe, in 2020, and ended up testing positive, and that whole deal fell through.
Right.
So he did it to himself. I know, shocking, right? Like, yeah. No shit. Like, I'm actually surprised it took him that long.
Since we're obviously not talking about anything, and we're not going to be able to talk about anything for a while, I think what we're going to have to do
for legal reasons, Pete, we can't use their names anymore.
Right. I think we're going to have to kind of lay out a little bit of a show map and maybe revisit some of our greatest hits from early on in the show. Like, I think one of these weeks we're going to have to come with our Beer League All-Stars, our newly updated.
Oh yeah, we got to update that one because there's a brewer that wasn't tendered, and I'm kind of disappointed in that.
Yeah, he's a Beer League All-Star Hall of Famer, isn't he?
Oh shit, he's my first draft if I had to draft a new team.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Sure
yes. No. 100%.
You're not going to pick a certain relief pitcher?
I still love that relief pitcher. There was nothing that will replace him in my heart. But as far as an offensive everyday player for Beer League,
I tell you what, the fun thing about it is that formidable is a
Look,
loose term there, but you could end up with think of the plethora of riches you have just drawing
Jesus.
from the relief pitching ranks.
Starters. I mean, the starter, like, there's a couple of them, right? Like, there's been a couple heavy bodies that have been starters that you can see them pitching in a beer league softball. But I tell you what, man, the guy I'm going with, I think he still has it. He's still athletic. And I think that's Big Sexy. I think he's got to be my starting beer league softball pitcher. I don't give a shit what crafty lefty you throw out there. It's Bartolo backed up by Rich Garces. He's the mid reliever.
And then Rick Russell waiting to close it out.
Whoever. I don't give a shit anymore. Yeah, whoever. And yes.
We'll revisit that so that we have some time to prepare for it. We'll revisit it in a couple of weeks.
Well, it's obvious who I'm talking about. My first pick, and I'll give it away right here. The rest of it will be a mystery.
Who's your number one pick?
Daniel Vogelbach, man. Give me a break.
He does look like he walked right off
He looks like he
Grant
accidentally
Park
showed up
softball
into the clubhouse. They gave him a uniform, and he ended up playing for a while, and is actually pretty damn good because he had nothing to lose.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Matt Stairs and Ron Coomer. I felt like especially when those two guys
More so
played
with
for the
Matt
Cubs.
Stairs.
I mean, those guys, like, we always used to joke, and this is when I was in high school, that do you think they, like, after the game, they go back into the locker room and start doing shots of Jack? Because I feel like those two would be sitting there with their uniforms open, just doing shots of Jack.
No, man,
drinking Busch Light.
I think it was like that. I think they were like double quarter pounders of cheese, man, with no problem.
That too. You can't put it past him.
I tell you, he's not my first pick, but I tell you, I'm gonna make the argument. I think one of my picks would definitely be Ron Say, because he didn't look like a baseball player.
Oh,
right?
no.
There was no way he was 6 feet tall.
His nickname was the Penguin.
Yeah, he played third base. I swear to God, his torso was longer than his legs. Like, that's the kind of guy who shows up, right? And super serious. You know that if he's on a softball team, he's showing up. He's like he's the guy who's got his fingers taped, and you know he's
got the eye black.
Before
He looks like a player. I got it right here. He looks like a player that showed up at fantasy camp.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
But instead of fantasy camp, he got the wrong invite and showed up at spring training. They're like, well, shit, whatever.
Yeah. We need a team.
We need a third baseman anyway, so it's fine.
Hey, can somebody get the bat boy out of the batter's box? No, that's our third baseman.
Yep. Yeah. That's the Penguin. Don't call him that though.
Fine.
We just call him that on TV. Don't call him that in real life. All right. I don't know. Okay. So we went down a little bit of a fun rabbit hole there. I'll take that one any day.
It's going to be an episode in the weeks ahead.
Yeah.
Until this whole thing gets
I look forward to that. And I'd say like, we can definitely do themes. Like there's a beer league softball team. I know, Pete, we did that in our first year. When we didn't know what to talk about in January because we weren't seasoned at this shit yet. We were trying to strictly stick to baseball, and that was a mistake.
Which is why we're going to be talking about the beer league softball team in January.
That's right. But I think there are definitely themes like most likely to be convicted for a murder team. I think there's definitely a starting all-star team for that. We can think of some other themes along the way, and it'll be a surprise. We'll reveal it maybe as we get there. So we'll have time to think about it.
I think we need to. This one could take a little bit of research, but a surprising endings to careers team.
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like a player who is so identified. You know, Joe Namath with with the Rams, right? Like those kind of teams. Somebody who's so identifiable with the team. And
did you say Joe Namath with the Rams?
Didn't he?
Jets.
Yeah, I know he was with the Jets, but I'm pretty sure.
Did he end up with the Rams?
Ended his career, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure okay. Oh, so there's two themes you're talking about there. Right. It's like, which player did you forget ended up playing for one team? Or it could even be between Cubs and Cardinals. Because I tell you what, there's been Twitter feeds of Cardinals you forgot about. And somebody like throw out a picture of a baseball card of Fernando Valenzuela, who was a Cardinal in the 90s for like a couple weeks. That would be a fun episode too. That we can definitely delve into that because I know the Cubs have had some surprising players over the years. It'd be hard to scour all of baseball for that, but I think we could definitely do our team. So I think there's a lot of material there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked it up while you were stretching there. Thank you very much. Joe Namath, 65 to 76 with the Jets, and then 1977 with the Rams.
Oh shit. Okay.
And then
I
he
didn't know
retired.
that.
Then he
Quietly.
was done. Yeah. God, I'm in.
And by the way,
Well, yeah, he was too distracted in LA.
Yeah.
well, that's what happens when you're a Ram in LA. I mean, the only championship the Rams ever have. I believe that was. Let me look up the city real quick. Yeah, the only time they won a Super Bowl was with St. Louis when they were the St. Louis Rams.
No.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Really? They didn't win one in like the 70s.
I don't think so. No.
No. They're only the Super Bowl.
That's why this is a baseball podcast.
They're only the Super Bowl champion St. Louis Rams, not the fucking LA Rams. Let's just make that clear right now. Okay. We won't get into the lawsuit on this one. But no, Pete, I love the idea of going through these teams with a little bit of a theme behind it, because I think that can be some really fun shit. I got another idea for a game too, but I'll share that with you guys offline.
Okay.
'Cause that's a good one. We're gonna pull in a guest for that one. I think I know who I'm gonna pull in for that. Trust me, it's a total baseball snob know-it-all, and we're gonna bury his ass on here.
Hey, listen, while you're talking about that, and because obviously it's not who I was thinking of, are you getting the boys the Nutty Buddy for Christmas?
Yeah, here's the thing. No, not for Christmas. I don't know what.
That's what everybody wants for Christmas. Everybody wants a cup for Christmas.
Sure. Sure, when they're not even going to remember to use it until April. So no.
And even then.
And not even then. And trust me, I know my son didn't wear his cheap one half the time, because I would ask him when he's catching, "You wearing it?" He'd be like, "Yeah." Well, let me hear it. And he wouldn't ever let me hear it. So I'm okay. Well, roll the dice.
Yeah. Have fun with that foul ball.
Full disclosure, guys, I'm pretty sure when I was in Little League, I never put that damn thing in, because our cups back in the 80s when we grew up were inhumane. It was like a bear trap. Here, put this piece of PVC that's really uncomfortable, rubbing you in all the wrong places, bigger than what you need for most people. Stick this in a little piece of cloth and put it right in front of your junk and have fun, buddy. Like, we weren't going to do that.
Yep.
Where was Mark Littell then? Oh, that's right. He was throwing at old ladies in the stands. All right. Pete, I don't know where to go with this. I know you're kind of guiding us here, but we're entering now the second official week, I think, of lockout. No news, man, and no line of sight to when they're going to get back together. But since we're getting so close to the holiday, we're not going to get resolution to this until January, right?
And probably the end of January, right? You think about it, they're not coming back until they wouldn't even possibly sit at a table until that second week in January. And they're not going to come up with, over the holidays, both sides aren't going to suddenly come up with a revelation of, hey, this is what's going to solve the lockout, put it down on the table, and the other side is going to say, agreed.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to take
time.
So
we'll all jump on a Zoom call. And by the way, since we're like during the pandemic, when they were negotiating when they were going to get back and playing, like they were doing it over Teams and Zoom anyway. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck is it a necessary need for them to jump on a plane and end up in some one location at a hotel to hash this out? It's not necessary anymore. They can do this over the break. They're not going to. No. So I totally agree with you, but I don't know, man. Thing is, they're inducing boredom on their fan base right now. That's the risk. I don't think we're kind of at a red alert yet that the season's going to be delayed, or pitchers and catchers reporting, or spring training, or anything like that. I don't think we're at red alert on that stuff happening.
What date is your red alert if they don't have?
They start getting closer to pitchers and catchers reporting. If they don't show a sense of urgency to get this shit resolved, I'd say within a week or two of when it's usually February, right?
So
like,
into January,
isn't it usually?
It's about mid-February, because I think spring training officially starts. So
like between the 15th and the 18th,
something like
usually
that.
I think when pitchers
Chinese New Year, that's when I know it as. But anyway, if they start getting close to that mark, Pete, and there's no resolution or no line of sight to it, and I'm like, well, shit, man, this is going to be an interrupted season. And that's the last thing they need. And I would think that they have the wherewithal to know that they can't afford to do that again. Like, how many sports have had, I mean, sports across the board have had screwed up. Now, last year, somehow they managed to start spring training on time, start the season on time, limited fan capacity, but then it eventually opened up. So it's still an irregular year. We have not had a normal baseball year since 2019. Like, they really can't afford to do this shit. The interest in this sport is waning. We all know that. We can't hide it. We can't rationalize it away. The interest in the sport is waning compared to others. And compared to what other people have found to do during a pandemic when they didn't have sports. Like, now's not the time, guys. I don't know. I don't know who I would even side with at this point more. Is it ownership? Is it players union? To me, I feel like the lockout makes me want to knee jerk and go, well, I'm kind of in favor of the players here. The owners didn't need to do this. But then I hear, I don't know if any of it's verified, but what the owners had put on the table, like some concessions, at least getting the ball rolling, at least trying to move the needle on getting some kind of agreement. And then I kind of look at it and go, I don't think the players union even showed up in Texas with any intent to get anything resolved. And they were going to make a statement. So I don't know what you guys, I'm interested to hear what you guys think, but it's just like, why even plan a fucking meeting in a different state, get everybody on a plane to sit down in a room for a few minutes only to walk out? Like, why? Why even do that to anybody? Does that not piss you guys off at all? I mean, we kind of expected it, right? But
yeah, I mean, I think almost everybody expected it to go into a lockout. I mean, the first thing I read was, the owners unanimously decided to lock out the players. And I was like, well, of course they did. But then hearing more of the story, but I feel like they both kind of want to work it out because I feel like there's concessions on both sides, and what the players are asking isn't huge. When have the owners ever conceded something that the players union has really wanted?
It's been
probably never.
Not fully. No, I would agree. Maybe not fully.
With as much money as the owners make, and I know the players make a shit ton of money too, but I think if they direct that towards helping the minor leaguers and then maybe getting, some of these contracts organized earlier for these players, so then they don't feel like they have to go for these huge ass paydays for 10 years at the end of their career, maybe their salaries won't be as huge.
Oh, and come on, Elliott. That's not.
I know that's not going to happen, but maybe if they concede somewhere, and then they can say, hey, listen, we'll get you guys paid earlier, but why don't we dial back and this is probably stupid, but put a limit on the maximum amount of years that you can sign you, and we'll give you guys options at the midterm of these contracts or something like that. So
I tell you, if I wanted to be if I was on the owners negotiated team, I'd counsel and say, hey, let's do this. Let's go to the players. Let's concede on some area that they want, right? Sooner free agency, fewer years in arbitration, whatever you're looking for. But in exchange, we get rid of the guaranteed contracts, fully guaranteed contracts. We get rid of that. You guys willing to concede on that
Pete,
one?
I don't ever see that going.
We're getting rid of those. We're getting rid of those 10-year, $400 million contracts. We'll grant you that you get free agency earlier. We'll grant you we'll raise the luxury tax. We'll lower the penalties. But because that's what a negotiation is, right? I mean, the players are going to have to give something up.
Yeah,
you can't expect that the owners.
They are, Pete, but I don't see that one. That one.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Sure, I mean,
give them a choice. What's more important?
Yeah. Well, I think the guaranteed one is one of those. That's probably a list of why Major League Baseball would never give up their deal for any other sport. I think the top one is the guaranteed money, right? Like you can't.
And you're referring to the players.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm turning to the players. Like, that's not something they'll never trade another league or organization for the deal they have right now. They have guaranteed money. Doesn't matter if you sign a 10-year deal for $400 million, you blow up your arm, never throw another pitch, you're going to get $400 million. Like, it's guaranteed. Like, other sports don't offer that.
Or possibly more if you're Bobby Bonilla.
That's true.
That's the gift that's going to keep on giving. Hopefully, I live long enough to celebrate, and we'll have to. If we're actually doing it, I don't think we'll be doing this by 2035. But if we are, we're going to have a massive celebration on Bobby Bonilla Day.
I hope he lives to 2035 so that he can collect every single one of those checks.
Mm-hmm. What a dumb deal.
I don't want like $10 million of that going into
You think they
estate.
misjudged inflation, what $1 million meant? Like, oh shit, 2035, that's going to be like $100.
Oh yeah, especially right now.
It's a good thing they weren't paying him in plastic. Oh shit.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to take some kind of creative negotiating like that. And yes, I understand that in the last two CBAs, the owners got everything they wanted and the players got nothing, and the players got screwed.
Well, the last one, right? They agreed to just keep the current one in place.
It's hard to say that they got screwed when their negotiating team signed off on it. I mean, you can't get mad at well, you can, but you have no credibility with me if you're getting mad at the owners for screwing you at the negotiating table when your negotiating team signed off on it.
And you had representation there speaking on your behalf that negotiated a deal that you don't like now.
They're the people that you need to be mad.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
100%.
yet you've got them at the negotiating table again, right? So what's changed?
Same guy.
Right. And I understand the last time he was new in the position and everything, but still, directing your ire at the owners, of course the owners are going to try and get the best possible deal for themselves. And the players are trying to do the exact same thing.
Telling me if you didn't own a business, you weren't going to try to get the best possible deal for your business? Get out of here. These greedy bastards. Entrepreneurs. I love the people that, and the people that are against this shit, I think for the most part, just at glance, are younger. Same people that don't like capitalism and oh my gosh, punish these people that create a product that's better than their competitors. And that they happen to make a profit off of it because they were entrepreneurial and did something. Yes, we should vilify all of them. Same with baseball owners. Like, of course they're going to negotiate the best possible deal they can get. Why would you not if you're a business owner? And baseball is a business, by the way. It's not all fantasy and field of dreams.
It's not.
Not last time I checked.
And you know what, Ron, you made a great point there. And that is that, of course, the owners are going to make the deal. And that's the difficult thing, right? In most things, negotiating a deal is difficult.
Yeah.
Unless you're working with a party that is aligned with your goals and wants you to succeed.
Yeah.
Do you know of anybody who would want to do that?
Goddamn business owners. I mean, think about it, Pete.
Ron, read the chat.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm not going to read the chat.
No, read the chat for me, the private chat from Wirecast. Open it up.
Fuck! I totally missed the gate, man.
You want to try that again?
You showed me the exit ramp, and I didn't take it. I'm not used to the chat on this thing, man. But okay,
we're gonna have to edit that again. For those of you who are watching at home, in the little chat feature here, I texted Ron, get the Wiley Automotive ad read ready because I'm going to throw you a hanging.
I'm not going to edit it out, even on the audio portion. We're just going to go into it. But it is, I get what you're saying. I mean, like if you're an owner, you're going to protect yourself, and that's all you need to do. We all know how important that is. Sometimes life throws a curve, and that's why you need Allstate. The Wiley Group has 2 locations in Festus and Arnold to serve you. They offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and so much more. They offer a customized approach that is unique to your situation to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. They also offer great rates and savings. Give Sean and his team a call today at 636-764-6294. They'll help you with an insurance quote right over the phone. You can even give them a call if you want to talk sports. They do that too. We all have busy lives. You can also email Sean at seanwiley@allstate.com and talk to him about your coverage options. And remember, you're in good hands with Allstate. That was wonky, but it worked.
It did. So are we done with baseball?
I am.
I mean,
I'm trying. Hold on. I'm
tonight
doing
and
my
possibly
mental inventory here, and I think I am. The only thing that I would bring up again about baseball is concerning the Cardinals. They have a new number one prospect that actually jumped a couple other high prospects in the system this year, which I think is a little bit of an interesting tidbit. But I'm not the expert to talk about that. In fact, a couple of the guys who follow on Twitter are probably better suited to discuss this. Jordan Walker, who was just drafted a couple of years ago as a third baseman, has jumped up to the Cardinals' number one prospect over Nolan Gorman and Matthew Liberatore, who was the famous trade for, I will not use his name, traded to Tampa Bay. Okay, Randy Rosarina, part of that deal. So they have a new number one prospect. I thought that was a little bit interesting. I didn't know much about this Jordan Walker. He was a high school kid. Cardinals typically don't do that, a position player. But they pivoted for, I think, a couple of years where they drafted some bats, some high school bats. And those guys seem to be getting close. I think Walker's predicted to arrive sometime in 2023, Gorman in 2022. Of course, Gorman was also drafted as a third baseman. He is going to shift over to second base because I think the Cardinals have a third baseman maybe locked up for a little while that they actually have to pay for now. So, I mean,
stole my joke.
Right. So they got a year of service for free. I think it was worth it. But yeah, so only interesting thing on the Cardinal front, and it's only because he's not on the 40-man roster right now, can we even speak his name. So that's about it. That's about the only thing I read that was kind of made me go, maybe I'll click that link.
Dolan Tornado, right?
Yeah. Cardinals third baseman bobblehead night in June.
All right. So for those of you who came here for the baseball content, bye.
Yeah, get out of here.
Peace.
So what cringeworthy video are we going to talk about first? Are we going to talk about Star Wars Eclipse? Or are we going to talk about the Galaxy Star Cruiser?
I didn't hear that one either.
Oh my God. Oh,
I don't want to put them up on here because people are only going to hear audio and not be able to see it on the audio portion. So I don't want to do it. But
wait, you made it work before we started.
Yeah, I know. So live viewers can do it. Are we going to get kicked off of YouTube for replaying something like that? I mean, everybody does.
Because we're going to be altering the content. We'll be providing commentary on it. So if any one of us wants to pause, so that we can weigh in on it, then we're altering the content. We're providing commentary.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm gonna have to turn the volume down on it if you guys don't mind, because I don't really want to hear it anyway. It wasn't that interesting. I'll play the first video, the one that we saw at the beginning, and then I'll tell you guys what I thought about it. And maybe I'll calm down a little bit on my second viewing here, but all right. Well, screw it. Here we go. That is not the clip. There we go. I thought this was originally a trailer to a Dune game. And I still think it's a trailer to it until I saw that.
That doesn't mean that it's not a trailer to a Dune game. I mean, remember, LucasArts made a bunch of great games in the 90s.
Yeah, my favorite, though, I'm just not sure they're going to go there. Okay.
So are we back on?
I don't know where we're at. I don't want to say Jeddah if I didn't know any better, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are we back on Jeddah there? Obviously, that's Coruscant.
There's Yoder. Saw him, right? That's Jeddah right there. Those are the same mask, like hooded people. I don't think that's 3PO.
I think that's 3PO.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be High Republic, right?
No, this is High Republic.
Oh, you're right. It's High Republic. That's right.
But I mean, the droids hadn't advanced for 400 years, Pete. They look the same goddamn way. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so the guy's banging on the drums. There's of course, I can't remember the name of them now. Trade Federation guys.
See, we're seeing a bunch of players, right? So this is obviously.
And we're seeing a bunch of guys bang on the drums that remind me of. Oh, and there's a droid control ship that existed in the days of the High Republic. And then all the guys banging on the drums remind me of Drax the Destroyer on Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a bunch of them.
From behind, but from the front.
I know, from the front, and we're going to see it now. Oh, look, it's Voldemort. No nose and little gills. Oh, and here, this is my favorite scene earlier, guys. This is a complete frickin' ripoff of Ronan on Guardians of the Galaxy when he stood up out of that pit of that black shit. And they cleansed him. Exactly what this is.
Wow, that's a nice little pull.
Nice
Because I actually thought of that too.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is Star Wars Eclipse. This is a trailer to a video game, right? You guys told me this at the beginning.
The background on.
Yeah. Elliott, fill us in.
Yeah. Okay, so this game is being done by this developer called Quantic Dreams, and they've made a couple of games. One called Heavy Rain, and another one called oh fuck, why can't I think of it? I've actually had it pulled up.
I like that better. This developer called Oh Fuck.
Yeah. Detroit Become Human. So graphically, the game is gonna look very similar to that, but it's not very action oriented. It's you making choices and going along a storyline. It's probably going to be multifaceted. It's going to come from different angles. And
Is it like a turn-based thing then?
It kind of. It's going to be more like quick time event. So there will be some action where you'll have to press buttons in a sequence and you'll have to do it correctly.
Shit.
Otherwise you'll mess up or it'll affect the choices that
this is going to be like the Journeyman project.
So basically, Pete, what's going to happen is older guys like you and me are going to. We're just going to watch the cutscenes that people put out on YouTube.
It's a perfect game for people who don't.
No.
Who are more about the story.
No,
who are about actually.
Elliot, it already sounds too complicated to me. So I think here's what's going to happen. Here's going to be my experience with this video game.
If you can't press X over and over and over again, and then walk somebody through a corridor to talk to somebody,
problem is I don't
make a choice.
Problem is I don't fucking want to. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to watch the cutscenes on YouTube after some geek puts it out 8 hours after the game's put out.
But
that's exactly what I'm going to do.
You're going to watch their choices instead of your own.
No, I'm going to watch the cutscenes. I don't give a shit about their gameplay.
But the cutscenes are going to be the cutscenes that you'll see will be based off the choices that they make.
Elliot, correct me if I'm wrong. This sounds like this is going to be a callback, a more complicated one, but a callback to the classic graphic adventure games of the 90s.
Kind of, yeah.
Of games like Grim Fandango and the Journeyman project.
Yes,
and that
yes.
Would it be anything along the lines of Knights of the Old Republic?
It won't be as action heavy as Knights of the Old Republic. No.
See, I wouldn't even say that one's action heavy. That one's action slow.
And the tree will branch.
A lot of your in Detroit Become Human. Like I really enjoyed that game, and I play a lot of first person shooters, and I play a lot of action heavy third person games.
That's probably don't. I don't even know what language you're speaking.
So third person is over the shoulder, where you're looking over the character. First person, obviously, you see the gun.
Like Diablo.
And Diablo is a top down. Is a top-down real-time strategy game. So first-person shooter, Call of Duty, Doom,
Dark Forces,
Destiny, Fortnite is your third-person shooter, but God, if you don't play video games, it's hard to explain it. Like your third-person action games is like Uncharted, Gears of War, God of War. Ratchet and Clank, a lot of the PlayStation stuff is third person. This is going to be more of a story driven. It'll almost be like interacting while watching a movie. Honestly, that's how I felt their previous games were Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain. So it's very entertaining. It's very engrossing.
So, Elliot, what you're telling me is that Lucasfilm Sorry. Yeah. No, Lucasfilm Games. That's the new.
There is no Lucasfilm Games anymore.
Well, no, isn't that what it just said on the thing? It
Is
said
that Lucasfilm?
Games?
Did it say Lucasfilm's game? Because
Yeah,
I'm
it said
pretty sure they
Lucasfilm
shut
Games.
down.
There's no
I think
more
it-
LucasArts.
LucasArts.
LucasArts
That's
is
right.
done.
That's right.
So Lucasfilm, for all intents and purposes,
Yeah.
has finally created essentially a movie set in the High Republic.
Correct.
So
Pretty
this
much.
is something that Kathleen Kennedy gave the green light to.
Yeah.
Okay, we're never going to see this game.
Well, the fact that they're
Wait,
actually
we're-
because
one-
there was
one
a
will never
Star
see
Wars
this
What's
game.
this,
or
over
if
the
we
top?
do-
No, you will because
the
there
top play?
was a Star Wars game that never got produced.
Hold on.
There
It was
are a
in-
bunch
it was
of
in
Star Wars
development.
games that were never produced.
Called 1333.
Yep.
That looked fantastic, and it didn't make it. The
1313.
fact that they're
Yeah,
By the way,
1313. The fact that they're showing this means that it's
gonna get canceled.
that it's gonna happen. It's
No,
not
it's
gonna.
gonna get
This
canceled.
won't get canceled.
yeah, Pete's right. Pete's right.
It's not
Anything, yeah, and we haven't even gotten into the show.
Quantic Dreams is a very, very good development studio.
That's great, but I'm not talking about the
So-
studio. This has nothing to do with
It's
the
just
studio. This has
related
to
to
do with the
Lucasfilm.
person who greenlit it.
Yeah.
Which is why the person who greenlit this project is the person who killed Star Wars 1313, is the person who refuses to release all kinds of previously completed Star Wars content, is the person who killed Star Wars Clone Wars, right? And who has fired, what is it?
Well,
6?
who the hell are you
7
talking about,
directors?
Pete?
Directors.
I mean, who are you talking
Yeah.
about, Pete? We don't know. Don't leave us in the dark.
Sure you do.
KK.
I'm just saying. I'm just and Ron, while you stepped out,
I didn't
what
step out, man.
what
I heard
identified-
that
Okay.
I don't know what first person shooter is. I don't know what over the shoulder. He said over the top or whatever the hell you said. I passed out.
Well, Diablo's is a top down.
I used to play
You're
that.
you're looking from the top. That's what a
This is why I don't.
Diablo
Pete, this is,
style.
you guys
game
wonder
is.
why. And my 16-year-old, I'm surprised he hasn't called in tonight.
He's probably laughing at you.
He
right
probably
now.
is right now because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about in any of this stuff, and I feel so far behind. And this is why I don't even want to pick up a game controller, man, because now instead of like 8 buttons, there's like 32 buttons. I don't know what any of them do. This shit isn't fun anymore.
Ron, I can walk you through this and be.
I don't
gentle.
want to be walked through shit. I just want to play something I
Ron, he'll
enjoy.
be gentle.
I'll be gentle.
And look, he'll start out over the shoulder. Okay.
That's
I
right.
tell you what,
Then he'll come over the top. All right.
you guys are describing prison rape here, and I don't like it.
Here you go. There you go. That's exactly it. Ron,
That's it.
this is the way to differentiate. First person shooter is your experience. Third person will be Elliott's experience.
You know what? Hey guys, I read this somewhere and I don't remember. It was a meme. It was something. But yeah, hey, surprise morning sex is always great, unless you're in prison. All right. So I'm
we just got canceled.
yeah, we did. It's how insensitive of me.
And
Look,
of us for laughing.
like the last Star Wars video
Not
game.
funny.
Did we get a comment on that?
No, but I'm sure we will.
Okay.
The last Star Wars game.
I said prison, by the way.
Well, the last Star Wars game was great.
No,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Which game are you talking about, guys? Are you talking about like a iOS
Order.
game or?
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay, I have not
Fallen Order's
seen.
pretty
I have
good.
not played that for 1 second, nor seen anybody
That's
I
play.
haven't either.
That's what. Yeah, I thought you did. I thought you said you watched the cutscenes.
I watched the
It's one with
cutscenes.
Cal
Yeah,
Kestis.
Yeah. I watched the story of the cutscenes, and I think that stuff's really great. Now, the last game I played, beginning to end, guys, was Knights of the Old Republic, which is back on the old original Xbox. Right? Do you remember those?
They released it. You can play it on
iOS.
current
Yeah,
Xbox.
no, I played both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've repurchased both of them for the iPad, and been able to
Nice.
play the first one. I got partway through the second one. I think the first one was kind of the breakthrough one. That was, I like the story element to it, and I do like the turn-based thing. And I get to the newer generation that's instant action. There is no pause. Like you're dead. The Fortnite people. I get it. That's what you're used to. You don't like it. So yeah, maybe my game brain moves a little slower than it once did. But I don't know, man. People talk about video games to me and I black out. I don't know what to think about them anymore. I'm so confused. I wouldn't even know what game system to buy. There's like 4 now you can get. I don't even know what this Quest is. Like my 10-year-old said he wants a Oculus Quest 2. And
okay, that's VR. That's VR. That's goggles and
That's gonna make you sick, Ron.
Yeah, you
Stay
don't
away.
do that.
Actually, I don't have the sensory issue. I'd probably be fine with that. I just don't know. Like, do I have to have a computer with it? Do I have to have a Nintendo 64? Like, what the hell? I mean,
no.
Self-contained.
Now you can.
I'll
hook
steal
a
it
computer
from
up
the
to
boy
it,
when I
but
come to
just
visit.
No. So
okay.
And you can fight Vader.
And Elliott's saying no, don't buy it.
no, I'm saying no. You don't need a computer,
okay.
but you can. You actually can hook it up to one if you want to.
So that your son could watch you while you're playing and laugh.
We've digressed a lot of ways, guys. I'm sorry, I totally derailed us on these video games, but
all right.
Okay, so that trailer that we had watched.
Hey, man,
right, so
this is my bread and butter. So
all who think that this game is actually going to launch, raise your hand.
I'm not. I'm not. First of all, the trailer was. I mean, there were cool elements to it. Now
90% it launches.
Okay.
All right. So Ron, you promised that you were going to give us your reaction to the trailer.
I think that they pluck too much of the flavor of the day, superhero, comic book, superhero movie elements of to this trailer. Oh, look, badass rising from a tub of goo, and he's standing up, and he's going to slowly reveal his face by looking around his shoulder to the camera. It's like so predictable. This is the look. I'm not saying Star Wars can't branch out and appear different and in different forms and in different genres. We just saw Star Wars Visions that presents itself way different than what we're used to. But this trailer was like somebody who was a big fan of the Matrix and tried to make the Star Wars like the Matrix and give it a Neo element. Like this, a lot of it did. Okay, so you threw a Rhodian in there. You threw a Admiral Akbar character. Why is it escaping me the race? But anyway, so there were Star Wars aliens in there. And so, yeah, you threw a few things in there, but to me, it's like, this does not feel like it's kind of it's kind of a mashup of Star Wars with Dune, with Guardians of the Galaxy, the cool things about it, the Ronin aspect. It's like, there's nothing in there that I felt like when I watched that, guys, there's nothing that I haven't already seen in some other genre or some other comic book lane. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Seen it all. They just put it all together in one, which is easy to do on a computer. Geeks.
That's nuts that you get that out of a 1 in 90-second clip when that game's probably gonna be like 10 hours.
You know what? And I may be a dinosaur and I'll die out and Star Wars will evolve beyond me, but I want to hear the Jedi Knights with Guardians of Peace and Justice. I want to see a trailer that kind of like gives me that kind of thing. Not like techno music and a guy rising up out of goo looking over his shoulder. I'm a bad motherfucker. Look at me.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
look at my minions banging drums simultaneously. They all look the same.
As somebody who's played the last 2 Quantic Dreams games, it's going to be from multiple angles. There's going to be multiple characters that you will play as. You will probably play as the dark side and the light side, and it's all going to it's probably going to be 6 different point of views, and it's probably all going to interact with each other at some point, culminating to some end.
Fine. I hope I'm dazzled by something. If you could take my Elliott, here's the thing. I'll be all on board with you if you and Pete can take my kids for a week so I can actually play a goddamn video game. That would be the only way I'd be able to do it.
I've got all 3 consoles, so.
Fine. You and Pete.
They're on their way.
It's a direct flight to Chicago. You guys just pick them up, send them back in a week, and I'll play all these video games you guys want me to play. Happy to do it.
Hey, I'll keep them busy.
And if you can't take it anymore, you can drive them down the Peoria area. My parents will get them from you. Finish the job.
Speaking of Star Wars videos on YouTube, Ron, you said you didn't see the teaser for Galaxy Star Cruiser, right?
No, I didn't.
Elliot, did you catch it?
I saw a little blurb about it, but
let's talk about a few we've all seen though. First, we've all seen like all these Boba Fett, Book of Boba. Like there's been like what 3 or 4 TV spots now. Right about this.
Just a new one I think came out yesterday.
That's right. Yeah, it did. And I think this is going to be a very interesting series. God, I'm so disappointed it's coming out like December 29th. Like I want it out like tomorrow. But I get it.
Oh, come on, you get it. They want to drop it when everybody's home.
They do. Yeah.
They've got their Hawkeye crowd right now, and then they're going to get their Star Wars crowd.
Oh, and by the way, that's actually ended up being a pretty entertaining. Hawkeye was never that much of an interesting character to me. I think here's why. It's because I could relate to him too much. He was a father, he's a bunch of kids, and I can't imagine jumping into a war or doing some kind of operation when I've got kids and a wife on a farm somewhere in the Northeast, and I'm just going to go to New York and battle aliens. Like as a dad, I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna stay here with my family and make sure they're okay. And God of Thunder and Captain America, you guys have this shit covered. You got special powers. I don't. I can just shoot a bow and arrow really well.
Time for me to go to work. Gotta save the world.
Yeah, I know, right? I know you eternally understand every episode. You never push back.
And I love how they make him so human where he's annoyed with the fans. They're like, oh, you're Hawkeye. He's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, man, not the appropriate time. And then he's washing his hands, and the guy comes up. He's like, how about now? And you could just see the disdain in his face. Like,
I haven't watched
just
this
leave
week's
me
episode.
alone.
I haven't either.
Watched this week's episode, but I'll tell you, I do give them credit. I like the way that they have handled this. And look, obviously, this is a transition into the Kate Bishop arc of Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
But they did the exact, here we go again. They did the exact opposite of what they did with Rey in the sequel trilogy. They immediately gave us Rey, and she was the Jedi that we were going to follow. And that was the story. And this has been a really nice transition. It's been, look, here's where we're going to go with it. And this is the future. We're going to give you the story of why it is, and we're going to let it play out. And you get to see why it is that Clint wants to
and they do a nice
being...
job of making her likable and annoying at the kind of the same time.
But
where
you can, Ron, you're absolutely right. He's a dad. Like, we can all understand, and you alluded to it there. We all understand why he wants to get out of this. He just wants to go home and spend time with his kids.
I want to be able to ensure that I go to my kids' Little League games and I'm cheering for them in the crowd or in the stands or I'm coaching them, whatever it is. And we all want to do that. And so the pressure, even during like a Christmas time, which is when this is set, you're like, it would tear me apart to not to.
And the goddamn elf.
But
yes.
But here's the okay. I got to do one last thing, and I swear to God, this is it, and then I'm out, and I'm not coming back. That's what this arc is, and I like it.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying the Hawkeye series. My wife is too, because she's watched all the Marvel stuff. So we have not watched this week's episode either. So we'll catch up on it. But yeah, the Book of Boba, the scenery we've gotten from that, him laying down in the back of the tank, getting healed. Obviously, we've seen in scenes with him, he doesn't have the scars that he has when we saw him confront Din Djarin to get his armor back. He's a little bit more screwed up then. But I think in this series, we're going to see, Pete, I think we're going to see his escape from the Sarlacc pit and the Sand People.
We have to.
And the Sand People recovering him. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, I think we absolutely have to.
And
I think the interesting way to do it would not be to have the first, say, 3 episodes go back in time and then bring us up to the point where he shows up in The Mandalorian. I think it'd be far more effective if they were flashbacks contained within the episodes that provide color for what's
Totally
happening
agree.
right now.
Kind of like with Din Djarin when they showed
Yes.
like the first 3 or 4 episodes, his getting rescued by the Mandalorians, right? Being a foundling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I predict that's what we're going to see too. And in these trailers, guys, we're only seeing like clips in the first 1 or 2 episodes before they reveal
Absolutely.
anything.
Yep.
That's all we're seeing. So there's a whole 7 episode arc this is going to be?
7 episode.
So we're only seeing
But I wonder, and there have been a lot of leaks that it was 6 episodes. So I wonder if either the first one or the last one is going to be an extended, like a 2-hour episode.
It's probably reshoots.
I hope so.
Kathleen probably ordered reshoots.
Yeah, and Dave told her where to go with that.
Yeah, Kathleen, you can kind of go.
Yeah.
They have this saying in Pittsburgh: you go fuck yourself.
Hey,
nobody likes you. Not even the CEO. He's told me, but whatever. Yeah.
What are you saying,
So
Elliot?
finally,
they made a Black
Eli
Series
has
character of
finally
Filoni.
got interested in Rebels, and he is halfway through season 2 now. So every day after school, he comes home, does what he needs to do. We do dinner, and then we'll watch 1 or 2 episodes.
Rebels was really cool, and my kids were young then too, and they that was kind of Sam's hook into it. And here's the thing: the conclusion of Rebels is going to come with the Ahsoka series, which is I think is great.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I told my wife too. Is I'm like it'd be good for you to kind of watch this because she likes the Mandalorian and she's excited for Boba Fett. I mean, and she's watched all the Star Wars movies, but she's never watched Clone Wars. But to see this going into Ahsoka would be good because you'll learn a bit about the character going in, so it's not just okay, that's the Jedi from Mandalorian.
Yeah,
you'll have a little bit more context, a little bit more
Still amazed by how many people didn't know about her and saw that and were confused. And I don't think they did a good enough job in that episode for people who hadn't been a Clone Wars fans or watching The Mandalorian for the first time. This was Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader's apprentice. This was his Padawan, right? It should have been a little bit more overt in letting people know that.
And you get that in Rebels because
you definitely get it. You definitely get it in Rebels.
Yes.
But for people who won't watch animated, and there's some people that just won't. You know that, right? I wish they would have been a little bit more overt in revealing that. But I don't know. All that shit's uncomfortable. You know what else is uncomfortable, Pete?
Buying a new car.
Buying a new car. It's stressful. None of us like to do it. It doesn't have to be stressful. Fifth Street Motors, located in Pacific, Missouri, will help you find the vehicle you need no matter what brand. Fifth Street Motors giving you the best price for a pre-owned vehicle that will fit your budget. Give Brandon or Don a call today at 573-259-1306 and tell them Gateway City Sports sent you. And more importantly, tell them Team of Rivals told Gateway City Sports to send you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Well, we're up on time.
Yeah, we are.
But I will say, if you can find it, the preview video, or the one of them anyway, one of the preview videos for Galaxy Star Cruiser was so bad that Disney pulled it.
Ooh, really?
It got ratioed. That's how bad it was. They had
ratioed.
They had what's his name? The kid who plays Adam Goldberg from the Goldbergs. They had him on there, and he was completely over the top. It's terrible. If you can find it somewhere, I'm sure that there are review videos of it. It's worse than
we're gonna have
possibly imagine.
Pete, if this whole lockout continues, we're gonna have to have a whole.
So it's not worth the $5,000 for 2 days for 3 people.
No, but we're gonna have to have this whole episode on here if this lockout continues on just where they've gone wrong. Like we can play. Basically, what I'm saying is an armchair quarterback to Lucasfilm once they've become independent of George Lucas and become under Disney. Like they have made some missteps, some miscalculations that have been, we hope is not detrimental to the long-term health of the franchise we all love. I worry about that a lot.
Yep, me too.
All right, Pete, we're
You
leaving.
know what else I worry about? I worry about the people who enjoyed this episode but forgot to subscribe. And that's why I want them to help spread the word by giving us a 5-star review and telling their friends to subscribe, because we're available on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else they listen to podcasts. And, you know, I think about them and I think about they really should be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels, Yacker Jacks, XFL STL. Oh, well, I mean, of course. And the Cards with A-Train Arlington Lane. I mean, you just can't go wrong going to the Gateway City Sports Network. You could fill out your day just subscribing to those podcasts and checking out the blog content. And if you disagree, I would invite you, send us an email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. We would love to hear from you. Love to have you on the show. Why not? We're not going to talk baseball. We might as well talk about whatever you want to talk about. So please send us an email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. And if you're not inclined to write an email,
I'm not so sure, but maybe a few of you.
If you're not inclined to send an email, you can find Elliott on Twitter. He'd love to hear from you. Elliott, where can people find you?
At TOR_Elliott.
Brilliant. And Ron. Look, number 48 on the top cards.
TOR_Ron75. Holy shit. I had to actually recall
Think
that
about
one.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I know because I threw you out of rhythm, but look, we love you guys. Ron's son's going to be here next week. So you'll get Braden.
Yeah.
You'll get third chair. You'll get Ron himself. I'll be out. I am going to be enjoying one of the best restaurants in the world.
Really?
Yeah. Friend's 61st birthday just happened a couple of weeks ago, and so a small group of us is getting together, and we're going to Alinea.
Is that one of the 5-course or 8-course meal places?
It's more like 13.
Wow,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
That screams Pete. It screams Pete. If I hear a restaurant that serves 13 courses, I'm like, Pete has been to it, or he has planned on going to it this weekend.
It's got 3 Michelin stars. It's one of my bucket list places. So the 4 of us are going.
You know what? I want to say
I only go to places where 4 Michelin
went
tires
there.
can take me, Pete. I don't. That's it.
4 Michelin tires.
I mean, so I have their cookbook.
Ooh.
This is the. There you go. And there's a super.
Now I'm intrigued, Pete.
There you go. Right. He recreated some of their meals and then took pictures of them. Let me see. Yeah, here you go.
So the audio portion of this, guys, you're seeing a picture of food in a cookbook that Pete decided to go ahead and show right now, abandoning the exit to the show. But I'll go ahead and pick it up from here since he doesn't want to do that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to talk. You go ahead and show whatever pictures you want of whatever dishes. And
was that
plates
roe on top of that dish?
That was roe, trout roe.
Okay. Well, I'm about to mute both of them because I have control over that. So we love you all so much. We're glad you tuned in tonight. We're getting out of here. Baseball, we hope we'll get its shit together over the next month. We don't have high hopes for that, but we have other plans in the form of all-star baseball teams that are unconventional and entertaining, and we definitely have some other genres we're going to get into. So until then, we love you all so much. Bye-bye, everyone. I'm going to leave it on Pete's face as we exit.